What is up, folks? JT here with a quick tutorial on how to use the Trade Plan Navigator indicator that I've released recently for TradingView. So once you've gotten your TradingView account set up and you've been granted access to the Trade Plan Navigator script, you can add it to your charts from the indicators. Invite-only scripts is where you will see it. Trade Plan Navigator by JT is the one that you'll be looking for. The first thing that I recommend you do once you've got this added to your chart is go ahead and hide the indicator. It'll make it a little less distracting for when you're putting in your trade plan levels for the indicator to work from. So first things first, we do need a trade plan to work with. The indicator is not designed to do that work for you. So essentially, once somebody has given you the plan or you've written up a plan of your own, you'll be ready to go. For this particular example, I'm going to use this morning's SPY plan, the levels that we see right here for calls and puts that I published right at market open this morning. So let me move this out of the way. And I'm going to get to entering my trade plan levels here into the indicator. So first things first, I'm going to go into the settings here, and I'm going to start entering each of the levels from this morning's SPY plan. So we've got 570.17 as our call entry. We've got 572.51 as our first price target, 574.64 second price target, 576.80 third price target, with a stop loss average down at 568.44. To the downside, we were looking for a break below 565.57 with targets at 563.58, second target at 561.49, and third put target at 559.95 with a stop loss average down at 567.40. Now, if you do happen to have a shared level that is the same for your call stop loss and put stop loss average down levels, in those cases, just so you aren't getting two alerts whenever that level is being tested, you're going to want to switch from using the call put SL to using a shared stop loss. Again, in this particular case, we don't have a shared stop loss, but if it is the same exact level for your call stop loss average down, so in other words, if my put stop loss average down was also at 568.44, I would switch this from using the call put stop loss level to just using a shared stop loss level. That will automatically modify not only how the indicator displays on your chart, but will also automatically modify how your alerts trigger and send you notifications. So again, in this particular scenario, we are using two separate levels because they are not the same. So we'll check used call put stop loss and uncheck use shared stop loss, hit OK. Now that those levels are in, we can unhide the indicator, and it will give us this beautiful display of all of the levels for both our call side trade plan and our put side trade plan. So you can make some tweaks to how this indicator displays. So just to talk you through that real quick, we're going to go back into the settings again. All of our levels are in there from the trade plan that we just took from the X-Trades Discord, but obviously if you have your own trade plan, enter in your levels there or pull the levels from a trade plan published in X-Trades. Again, paying attention to whether or not we're using separate call and put stop losses or a shared stop loss level. You can change your entry colors for bullish and bearish entries. You can change your bull and bear target colors as well as your stop loss average down colors. You can also change the shading of these risk reward zones here in the background. One thing that I added recently to this indicator is a quick rundown of what your risk reward is based on the call or put entry, the stop loss, in each of these price targets. So for example, what this is showing us here is that we are willing to risk $1 for every $1.35 of upside here on SPY. So in other words, we've got a 1.35 to 1 risk to reward ratio, where our risk is at 1 and our reward is at 1.35 based on movement of the underlying asset. So you can see as we make our way through the plan how those risk rewards ramp up, but that's just a quick at a glance understanding of how you're setting up your risk rewards on your trade plans or in a trade plan that's been provided for you. You can choose how far These risk and reward zones will extend out to the right. I have that value set pretty high by default. It's not something you should really ever need to play with, but if you want to, feel free to. You can also change your label colors for each of these levels, so whether those be call or put price targets, entries, etc., you can change the color of the lines that get projected on the chart. You can also change the X and Y offset. So for example, if you want these labels to show up a little bit closer to the current candle, you can move that offset down a little bit and it will move them closer. You can also increase the offset, which will push them either below or above, further away from the level that each one of these labels is referring to. So for example, if I jump this up to 0.5, you'll see that they push a little bit further away from the levels on the chart. Now, once you have all of this dialed in, this is really where the magic starts to happen. So we're going to hit OK. Again, we've got all of our levels mapped out here for the SPY plan the way we want them. So there's a couple of things we can do now to lock in this trade plan, because the way that PineScript works, there's not really a way for us to save these levels in the indicator specific to SPY. So there's a couple of things that we can do. First and foremost is going to be to create an indicator template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the indicator templates. I'm going to hit save indicator template. I'm going to call this SPY plan. SPY plan, for example. Actually, I already have one for SPY plan recaps right here. So I'll go ahead and plug that in there for the SPY plan recaps template. The one thing I am going to want to do is I'm going to want to make sure that I remember the symbol. And I'm going to want to do this every time I use the Trade Plan Navigator to lock in a trade plan chart. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to the SPY plan recaps. I am going to remember the symbol and I'm going to hit save. It tells me, hey, you're going to overwrite your indicator template. Do you really want to replace it? Yes, I absolutely do. That's fine. Okay, so now that I've saved that in as an indicator template, it's very easy for me to come back to it. So for example, if I take us over to one of the other trade plans that I published over the weekend, this one being NVIDIA, that I have saved into this one trade plan indicator template slot, I can quickly go back to my SPY plan recaps. It's going to take me right back to the SPY chart. It's going to remember where I had those levels set based on what the values of that indicator were when I created that indicator template. So again, using these indicator templates, you can use those to keep track of multiple trade plans. So I've got the SPY plan there, for example, NVIDIA trade plan here from the member selected tickers I did over the weekend. We've got Tesla here, for example. It's going to automatically load in those other indicators based on, again, this trade plan template is going to remember all of the chart settings and all of the indicator values when you lock in that indicator template. So that's step one if you want to have a trade plan that you can refer back to. And then once you've got those templates saved, you can add them to your favorites. So for example, once I put a star next to any of these, it lines them up in the list up above here. You can append those, or I should say prefix those with emojis if you want something that's a little bit more stylish, or whatever you put that first letter or emoji in, though, when you create that indicator plan template name will determine what the icon looks like at the chart top of your chart there. So make sure you keep that in mind. So if I were to, for example, remove this JT trades from my favorites, disappears off the list up there. If I add it back, it's right back on the list up there. It's got that little money emoji on it. So again, using these indicator plan templates is how you will be able to keep track of your various trade plans if you want to refer back to them. The other important thing that we need to talk about, though, is setting alerts. This is really where this Trade Plan Navigator becomes tremendously valuable and was going to make your life a lot simpler. So now that we've got everything dialed in, we've got it saved as an indicator template. Saving as an indicator template is not required to create the trade plan alerts, but it certainly will give you something that's easier to refer back to. So for setting alerts, a couple of things that we're going to want to pay attention to. We're going to want to pay attention to what the chart time frame is, because we're going to use a function of the replay. Okay, well, we'll take it out of replay mode. Sorry about that. I just didn't want the candles kind of coming all the way across the chart. As you can see today, we got a lot of alerts for puts and downside playing out today. So what we want to do is we want to set our alerts symbol. Obviously, we're setting those alerts on SPY. We're going to change the condition from price to the Trade Plan Navigator, and we're going to change this to any alert function call. So what this any alert function call is going to do is it's going to give us an alert once per bar anytime the price crosses any of the levels in our trade plan. So essentially, if you have a separate call input, stop loss average down, by setting this one any alert function call alert, you're technically creating 10 separate alerts that only utilize one indicator slot in TradingView. I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a second. If you happen to have a shared stop loss average down for both the call and put side, then you would technically have 9 alerts, since there's only one call stop loss used by each side of the plans, but you still have an entry level and 3 price targets for the upside and the downside. So that gives you 8, and then 9 or 10 depending on the number of stop loss levels you have. So I just wanted to talk about that and show that any alert function real quick. But some things that you need to factor in, as I said, because these candles are scripted, because these alerts are scripted to fire once per bar. So anytime during a 15-minute candle, if we're getting the price action to cross above or below one of our trade plan levels, I'm going to get alerted. I'm going to get alerted once every 15 minutes. So that's something that you're going to want to keep in mind based on sort of how frequently do you want to get notified by your alerts. I think, probably 5 minutes is going to be too much noise for most folks. But again, it's totally up to you. Essentially, what you're choosing when you choose your chart interval before setting these alerts is you're choosing how frequently you want to get a repeat alert for any level. So for example, we cross over PT1 for puts right here at 563.57, and we cross over it once within a 15-minute candle, you'll get an alert for that. If we cross back above or below it within that same 15-minute candle, you're not going to get any more alerts. Now, if it continues up and test this put entry up here at 565.57, you'll get another alert, but it won't trigger this PT1 alert again until the next 15-minute candle. So again, make sure that you're paying attention to the chart time frame as you are setting these alerts up. The other thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is whether or not you are setting your alerts based on the extended trading hours chart or the regular trading hours chart. Extended trading hours will give you alerts outside of regular market hours. So in other words, outside the hours of 9:30 to 4 p.m., you will get alerts if they are triggering, essentially. If you use just regular trading hours, it will limit those alerts to firing to only during market hours. So for this particular example, I'm going to go with regular trading hours only, because I only want to get alerts from 9:30 to 4 p.m. I don't want my phone buzzing all night with trade alerts that I can't really do anything with. And let's say I only want to get alerted once every 30 minutes. So I'm going to change my chart time frame to the 30-minute chart. I've got all my levels in here that I'm happy with. So like I said, once all that is locked in and in place, I'm going to hit alert. I'm going to change the condition to the Trade Plan Navigator. I'm going to change this to the any alert function call. You can set an expiration on it if you want. In this particular case, because the SPY plan is just a day trade plan, I would set it for today at 4:15. Let's just set it for tomorrow though, because technically today at 4:15 is already in the past. So we'll go ahead and set it for tomorrow at 4:15, and I'll hit set. You want to name these alerts, so you might want to call this, SPY plan. SPY plan 3:10:25, something to that extent, and hit create. So once that alert is created and set up, so now we're going to get alerted during regular trading hours once every 30 minutes, anytime one of our levels gets crossed. You can see that over here in my active alerts. You see the SPY plan 3:10:25. This is the same set of alerts from earlier today, but here's the one that we just set. As you can see, it only uses one indicator slot to go ahead and fire all 9 to 10 alerts that the Trade Plan Navigator will keep track of. And that's pretty much it. That does it. So again, this indicator is not designed to do the work for you as far as determining what the key levels are, where your entries, where your targets, where your stop losses. It's really meant more as a tool for helping to keep track of multiple trade plans and easily set up all your alerts so you can be notified when it might be time to take action on one of your trade plans very quickly, very simply, and with using a minimum number of indicator slots in TradingView. So with that being said, I hope this is helpful. I hope you all enjoy using the Trade Plan Navigator. Again, just a reminder, you need to lock in those alerts or lock in those indicator templates if you want to save those trade plans beyond this one use of the chart, right? Because now if I go in and I change these settings for the Trade Plan Navigator on a different ticker to set up the trade plan for that, and I don't lock it into a trade plan, the levels that I've already got in here for SPY are gone. So you have to lock in those levels into an indicator template, or else they can disappear as soon as you make the changes to your indicator settings. So like I said, we've got examples here from NVIDIA. We can go to Tesla. We can go to Palantir. All these different trade plans that we've worked on either live streams or that I've provided full detailed plans for in the chats. All that you need to do is bring those levels into your trade plan pilot, plug them in, set your indicator templates, set your alerts, and you'll be good to go. So with that, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Take care.